Welcome to week 4 midpoint check-in team project. Well done so far, guys. I love the communication I've been seeing from the different teams. Just want to give you an update as to the expectation for the rest of the semester and let you know what's been going on in regards to some of the teams and what I see. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to the team leaders as well as the team members, but the team leaders for stepping up into their role. I appreciate everybody. It shows obviously that some of you guys have really embraced the concept of management, and I want to point out that if you are a team leader, it gives me the opportunity to get to know you in a different level, in a different leadership role, which also allows me the opportunity to serve as a reference for you in the future if you're seeking a job. So keep in mind for my team leaders, if you are going to be applying after this for a position and you needed a reference letter from someone, remind me in your email that you served as a team leader. I can go back and see your work and obviously give you a reference for your time here at GNTC. That said, let me tell you what some of the teams have decided to do. I'm pretty excited because there's some really interesting concepts out here that's going to be tackled. First of all, one of the teams are doing Laundry Matters. Is a small business plan for a laundry service in Northwest Georgia. This is amazing, awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing what you have in store in regards to this business plan. Another one's going to be a cafe hangout sort of area that offers coffee, which, by the way, as you know, I've got my coffee ready to go here. This is a Stormio from Nespresso that I'm ready to make after this video, but it's a coffee plus it looks like it's going to have like a game room or arcade room and maybe library or board games or something. It's like the ultimate hangout is what I understand it's going to be like. So looking forward to what that's going to look like at the end. The other company seems like it's maybe already a sort of maybe not established, but in the process of being established, logging company, Cedar Line Forestry. So I don't know much about it, so looking forward to doing my own research on what that entails, comparing it to your research, and kind of going from there. FYI, on the cafe, game room, laundry, there was a student of mine that started a similar concept in the Dalton area. She's now moved on to other things, but she had a cafe in the city of Dalton, and very exciting to see that. And then the last team has a financial literacy for college graduates, which is something that I am always interested in. Financial literacy is such a big topic in the business world, of course, but I'm always concerned about graduating college and my graduates who then start making a little bit of money, what to do with it. And we fall into patterns that maybe we've seen from our family members, our parents, and might not have the best financial literacy. So this is exciting because I think understanding the investment world, understanding the savings world, understanding those concepts that might have not been taught to everybody in school. I think it's important. So I'm excited. I'm super thrilled. You guys have been doing a great job. I see some of the communication going through. You're communicating. You're working as a team. I'm pumped up about it. You have not let me down in regards to the expectation of what is coming forward with this class. You guys are proving to me that we can push you further in regards to your educational journey, and you have not let me down. So I want to thank you for that. It's made the class extremely interesting. It's made the class exciting for me to come in on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, read your work, read your discussions. So we are in the midweek or midpoint checkup or check-in, and what we're doing here is you guys are going to submit your work that you've already put together. Don't worry about any mistakes or cleaning everything up. I don't expect a final product. I expect you to tell me where you're at. So, technically speaking, we should be at a place where you feel like you already are looking at a uh, touching up on some stuff. You're finalizing your concepts and putting together. You're analyzing things, and you're sort of in that rough draft mode where you're, oh, I could add this to this. I could do this. The executive summary is going to have some things, but missing some things. Perfect. Perfect. And I want everyone to work on the same thing. So ultimately, you're going to submit basically the same thing, but I want to grade you individually. So everyone has to submit the work, but use a shared document to be able to outline all this and show me where you're at. And I do this for several reasons. One, to sort of be my checkpoint and make sure that all the team members have been cooperating. There is a concept in business called self-regulating teams. And what that means is, as a manager, you're going to find that if you have a good structure and you develop a good team and there's good cohesion in the team, that the team itself will self-regulate. So think of a classroom, if you may, and the psychology in class management. In a classroom setting, like say you have a class of fourth graders, right? My wife teaches fourth grade, as many of you know. I've said this before, and there's a self-regulating concept that happens inside of a class management or a team management. And what that means is that as the leader of the class or as a teacher of the class, there comes a point where I do not have to correct everyone, that the class itself would put pressure on the other students to comply to the rules. So simple things like, say, for example, in my wife's class, if the students are supposed to come back from lunch, sit down at their desk and be quiet, and they're talking, and my wife goes, class, class, and they all start responding, but there's one or two kids that are having their conversation, and the rest of the class is going to turn to them, and the teacher doesn't have to say, little Susie or little Bobby, you need to stop talking. The class themselves will regulate the students that are not adhering or are not complying to the class norm. And that happens. And we as managers, as team leaders, our job isn't to be a security guard or some type of disciplinarian, is to help the team, facilitate the team to reach their goal. So it's not for us to be, looking for someone to do what's wrong. It's for us to create an environment, create a healthy environment for the team itself to self-govern, to have an autonomous environment, for them to become part of the process. And I've read that happening within your own team. I see the discussions and how people are saying, I'm excited about this. I'm eager to see what we come up with as a team, which tells me that the team has now reached the level, as we were talking in our discussion, in performing. Like that first week, you might have not been fighting with each other, but you were trying to figure out who does what. And I've seen that happening. Tuckman's model was happening. You guys are saying, who wants to do what, and people were looking and trying to, that's still storming. Storming doesn't always have to be arguing or fighting. It has to be, where do I fit in this team? How do I play a role in this team? And there'll be times where you guys will roll back into storming when someone has not submitted their information, has not done their part, and someone reaches out to them and say, hey, you missed this, or you need to do this. And that's the self-regulating process that occurs so we can move the team into performing. I will say, from my perspective, reading your discussions, seeing your work, that the teams have reached a point of performing, at least from the most part of it. You might tip back into storming. Someone might not be complying, but the team will help regulate that back into performing. So I am thrilled. You guys are nailing it. The expectations are being met. Team leaders, well done. I appreciate all your effort in organizing things and not being that person that thinks that you need to manage with a strong hand. No. This is all about facilitating a autonomous team, facilitating professionals. When you know that you have a team that knows what they're doing, you are all been educated in business management. You know what needs to happen. You have the background knowledge. So allow them to do it. Allow them to utilize it. And I see that happening. So this checkpoint is just to make sure as teams, we're all on the same page. We are all in the same part. We've selected our project. We're working on it. I already graded. So I don't think there's anyone that's throwing a red flag for me. So I think you guys, as a whole, as a class, I'm excited to see what's happening. Make sure that if you have not seen my videos and have not been replying and you're not getting those hundreds on your discussions, it's probably because you're not aware that I as well post within the discussion a video similar to this. So obviously, as you will know, this is just a for your information video. FYI, you don't have to reply to this video. This is not being graded. This is just for you to have an understanding of what's happening. What's next? Next is going to be not much of an assignment, but a discussion for the next couple weeks. So weeks 5, we'll be discussing AI and how it's being utilized and what's the proper method to utilize ChatGPT, Gemini, and some of these other AI concepts. There's some AI concepts that would help you create a professional looking resume. I think that some of you are at that point where you're about to graduate and you need to create a resume. These are good tools to be used in business, but what's the proper way to do it? What's the way to utilize it at work and school and different places without losing the authenticity of who you are in this process? And then week 6, we talk about the team process concept. We talk our final thoughts, and essentially you guys are going to finalize all your team's work and get it all ready to submit for week 7. And in our discussion, we're going to do a final thoughts, final farewells, and all that stuff. I will give you my final farewell, and then week 7 is your final submission. And week 7, just to give you an understanding, you're going to submit your executive summary, which is separate from your PowerPoint. So do not include it inside of your PowerPoint. That's a whole separate 2-page report. And then you're going to submit in a different theme. You're going to submit your project PowerPoint, and then you're going to do your self-review assignment, which is a review of how you felt, and then you're going to do a peer review, which is the team members. You're going to grade your team members. So if you recall from week 1, your self-review, I am going to look at, and I'm going to compare it to your team review. So this is very important to understand. You're going to tell me what you honestly thought you did, but I'm going to have 3 or 4 other team members tell me the truth. So I'm going to compare those two together to make sure that you guys are being fair to one another and you're being fair to your self-evaluation. All right, that's about it. It's going to be in the 60s today. It's Wednesday. I'm excited. I'm so tired of the cold. I am ready to just enjoy a cooler weather. I hope Georgia doesn't just go from winter to extreme summer. I hope we have a spring and have these nice 60 and 70-degree weather days. That would be perfect. So, guys, thank you. I appreciate you. Until next week, we'll see you. Have a great week, guys. Take care.